welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Steve Van Eiderstein. Thank y'all for joining me today for the April 27th reading of James Allen's Daily Meditations. I'm really looking forward to see how April rounds out. We've been throwing a couple curveballs with the formatting, and there's been a ton of great information and reminders and accountability and just a journey. April's been a journey in and of itself, and it sticks out to me more so than the first 3 months, to be honest with you. So really been enjoying this month with you. So thank you for jumping on, and all the people that listen and from whatever streaming platform you're listening from. So thank you very much for that. And this will be fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning this will be my first time hearing the podcast when I read it on this podcast. First time hearing the meditation when I read it on this podcast. And you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. So here we go. This will be April 27th meditation from James Allen. Instruct me in the doing which is according to the eternal, so that I may be watchful and fail not. The unrighteous man is swayed by his feelings. Likes and dislikes are his masters. Prejudices and partialities blind him. Desiring and suffering, craving and sorrowing, self-control he knows not, and great is his unrest. The righteous man is the master of his moods, likes and dislikes. He has abandoned as childish things. Prejudice and partiality he has put away. Desiring nothing he does not suffer, not craving enjoyment, sorrow does not overtake him. Perfect in self-control, great peace abides with him. Lovely paragraph. Do not condemn, resent, or retaliate. Do not argue or become a partisan. Maintain thy calmness with all sides. Be just and speak the truth. Act in gentleness, compassion, and charity. Be infinitely patient. Hold fast to love, and let it shape thy doing. Have good will to all without distinction. Think equally of all, and be disturbed by none. Be thoughtful and wise, strong and kind-hearted. That was awesome. I don't know why, but that one, there's something about that first paragraph. Well, both of the paragraphs have a different kind of theme to them, I guess, but self-control, and it's about controlling your emotions. It's about understanding that how we feel is really secondary to right action and truth. I don't even know if it's secondary, but it's definitely not the primary thing that we need to be concerned with. A life lived based on emotion is, first of all, an unstable, a miserable, and a conditional life. That was the life I was living before I found spirituality, before I found recovery, before I found a different way to live. Everything was based on my emotions and how I felt about doing a certain thing, or how I felt a certain thing was going to turn out, or anything of that nature. My feelings ran my life. My emotional state ran my life. I could not do anything consistently because if I had a bad day, I wouldn't go and do what I was supposed to do. Makes it for a very isolating life, very chaotic life, and a purposeless life, and a life of self-will serving self. which always just leads to self-centeredness, selfishness, and hurting others and ourselves. So, it's hitting a nerve. It's hitting a nerve today, but a good one. It's reminding me of how I don't want to be. It's reminding me of why I do the work I do. It's reminding me of why I practice the principles that I practice, and I live the way I live. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and start at the top. Instruct me in the doing which is according to the eternal, so I may be watchful and fail not. Instruct me in the doing which is according to the eternal. What lines up with truth? What lines up with goodness? What lines up with God? What lines up with nature, or that society, or that whatever you are choosing to serve, that thing that is bigger than you? All right? Instruct me in the doing which is according to the eternal. Instruct me in how to act in alignment with truth and love and wisdom and knowledge and power, strength, resiliency, so I may be watchful and fail not. Sometimes knowing what it's not supposed to look like is just as good or better information as to what it's supposed to look like. Sometimes we need to know what not to do, because it gives us a better picture of what we need to work on. So, this is the main body of the meditation. This is the first paragraph now. The unrighteous man is swayed by his feelings. I mean, I think that's pretty much a collective of most of this paragraph. And he goes into a list here. Likes and dislikes are his masters. He serves his own emotion. And emotion is inconsistent. Emotion is dependent on many, 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 many things. And it's a tyrant. It's a hopeless tyrant. Emotion. Likes and dislikes are his masters. Prejudices and partialities blind him. We're going, in the United States at least, we're going through so much of that. Prejudice, partialities, like taking sides. The need to be condemning of another group of people. It really is a problem. It's so divisive. And that's its intention. There's no bridges to cross the gap anymore. The next pairing is prejudices and impartialities blind him. Desiring and suffering, craving and sorrowing. When we desire, we suffer. When we crave, it's sorrowful. They're directly connected. And that's been my experience. My deepest desires have led me to a place of suffering. And some people like that because they believe they'll derive motivation from that. But a mindset in that nature will always reoccur, and you'll never find satisfaction in life. Living a life based on emotional motivation to carry you through by desiring something that's not attainable or something that is causing you a lot of suffering is a lonely, painful, miserable life. He ends this sentence with self-control he knows not. So the unrighteous man is swayed by his feelings. Self-control he knows not, and great is his unrest. He's just completely restless. That was me. 100% restless was a good descriptor of me. I couldn't sit still. I couldn't be in the quiet. I constantly needed stimulation and chaos to draw my attention to, because if I sat too too long alone with myself, which really could be rather quickly. We could talk a matter of seconds sometimes. Misery ensues, sorrow and suffering, and then I just want to get rid of it, right? I just want to medicate it or run from it as fast as I can. And that's not a good place to be. And great is his unrest. The righteous man, so we have the comparison again, which I love. The righteous man now is the master of his moods. My emotions serve me. I do not serve my emotions. That is my goal. And when I have a strong emotion, I know to take a look at it because I'm getting involved in that. Meaning, if I become extremely sad or extremely angry, there's something in me that I need to work on. Because anything external to me that can create such an emotional response in me is a problem. Likes and dislikes he has abandoned as childish things. Because when you like or dislike something, you will have a preference, right? And preference can actually cause us to make the right decision, cause us to make the wrong decision. Like and dislike matters not. There's only what is right and what is not right. What is good and what is not good. What is loving and what is not loving. So, likes and dislikes he has abandoned as childish things. Prejudice and partiality he has pushed away. He has put away. So those judgments upon other people, upon other groups, we walk a line unattached emotionally to groups, to labels, to other people, to condemnations, to prejudices we have formed. We leave those things. We leave that behind. Because there is only one path to take at the end of the day. Only one path to take. That is the way of truth and freedom. Desiring nothing, he does not suffer. Not craving enjoyment, sorrow does not overtake him. When we are content with this moment and content with where we are and what we have, that desire does not show up to make us miserable. And people think, well, yeah, the motivation is not going to be there. There's more power and sure-footedness and resiliency in making a decision when you are not feeling lacking. When you can detach from that and you can say, this is the right decision to make here, rather than like, I really want this, so I've got to go do this, or I really don't want this, so I'm going to do the opposite, right? When you can do that, you have strength. You have the strength of 1,000 men. Because you cannot be controlled by external circumstances, by external desires, right? To seek some sort of comfort and validation from them. It's incredibly important to understand that. He ends this paragraph with perfect in self-control. Great peace abides with him. Peace is there when I execute and practice the spiritual principles of this world. That honesty, the courage, the faith, the integrity, the forgiveness, the love, the service, the discipline and persistence, There's so much to practice here. And when we do that, there's peace because we're not getting wrapped up in our own stuff. This last paragraph. Do not condemn, resent, or retaliate. Do not hold judgment over others. Do not be condemning over others. Do not argue or become partisan. Do not pick a party. Do not debate or deliberate what is right and what is wrong, because it is not a subjective matter to be deliberated. you live the right way of life. You live a life that follows truth and love and strength, and others will follow. Maintain thy calmness with all sides. That's another thing too. The judgment does not need to be cast externally to us, to others, to give us the fuel of disdain to walk the path we're walking. Knowing the truth allows us to walk in freedom, the correct pathway of life, instead of running on all of these emotions, expecting those emotions to drive us. We do not need to hate, to condemn. That is just not a way to drive ourselves. It's sustainable. It doesn't hurt anybody else. Maintain thy calmness with all sides. Be just and speak the truth. Practice justice. And speak honestly, openly, and truthfully. And you'll be amazed what gets returned to you, I'm sure. Act in gentleness, compassion, and charity. All right, that's how we got to act. Gentleness, compassion, charity. Be infinitely patient. It's a tall ask for a lot of people. Be infinitely patient. I know I struggle with it. Hold fast to love and let it shape thy doing. Your motivating factors, your intentions should come from a place of love. Have goodwill to all without distinction. Think equally of all and be disturbed by no one. When you're not going around categorizing this person is right and this person is wrong, or you're not judging, saying this person is a bad person, this person is a good person, when you're not creating those lines in your own mind, you can think equally of every single person without judgment. It doesn't mean it's easy to do that. It takes work. It's taken me a lot of work to get to where I am, and I'm still not perfect at it. That's for sure. Think equally of all and disturbed by none. And when you do that as well, when you have that understanding, because you have to come to an understanding that to think equally of all, you have to understand that they're all the same in some capacities. And that takes the resentment out of it. That takes the emotional attachments out of it. So you can just be present and not have to follow up on that, anything or take actions because you were disturbed. All right, so here's some more things to do to emulate or to bring into your own personal character. And this is the last line right here. Be thoughtful and wise, strong and kind-hearted. 4 words: thoughtful, wise, strong, kind-hearted. Sometimes you don't realize how tall the order those are. For myself, for others. But the reward is certainly great. That's for sure. So, anyway, thank you all for joining me again today. I truly, greatly appreciate it. And another just out of this park reading today. Thoroughly enjoyed that as well. And I am looking forward to tomorrow. So, until next time, thanks.